Every land has a story. But ours learned to speak through silence. Not because it had nothing to say, but because no one dared to listen. Dear Marx, I write to you from a land you never saw, but might have tried to explain. They say you had a woman who stood beside you through struggle. You had Jenny. I have Ammu. I am not jealous of you, Marx. But your Jenny might be jealous of my Ammu. If history is written by power, what happens to those no one writes about? She has no parents, not because they are gone, but because they left. She remained between two worlds, unseen, unclaimed. Marx, you saw the world through systems, through class, through power. You believed if we understand the structure, we can change the future. Tell me, where does she fit in your theory? She is in your records. She is in your class. But she belongs nowhere. Does she exist for you at all? So where is she? Marx, you wrote about exploitation. But here, some are counted and still invisible. And some are erased before they are even seen. Marx, you wrote about nations, about how people must have the right to decide their own future. But here, even those who speak your language refuse to hear ours. They call themselves Marxists. They speak of equality, of class struggle, of justice. But when people ask to decide how they should live, they turn away. They say class is everything, but here, ethnicity cuts deeper than class. Language decides who belongs and who must disappear. So tell me, Marx, where does she stand when her very existence is questioned? Marx, you once tried to explain the East as something different, something outside your usual history. Maybe you were trying to understand why this world does not move the way you expected. But here, that difference is not theory. It is how she survives what surrounds her. She does not ask for revolution. She asks for a place to exist. A place where her language is not a threat, where her identity is not a crime. If it cannot recognize her right to exist as she is, then what does it change, Marx? Marx, I don't need a theory to explain her suffering. I need a world that does not erase her. Maybe the problem is not that your ideas are wrong. Maybe they are incomplete. And in those spaces, emotion learns to lead. Your Jenny fought with you. My Amu fights within me. Marx, you wrote about changing the world. But no one tells us how to live after losing someone who was our world. Now, I only have her memory. I am not jealous of you, Marx, because your Jenny lived with you. But my Amu, she lives only within me.